How's it going? Today is 4th of October, Friday, and we're gonna be taking a look at the market and what's happening. And we're gonna be taking a look at most recent things happening. And in today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at US. And while taking a look at the problem, we're gonna be taking a look at the solution as well. Problem would be cost, input cost, and how some of those big companies, well, that would be more as a blueprint where many businesses would be looking to reduce operational cost. In return, reducing operational cost, those businesses might be able to offer better products or services and cheaper, perhaps when it comes to prices, right? This is how it should be working on the surface, but it's not necessarily the case. So it's just perhaps things are going to be a little bit different compared to the way how this information will be presented in all these articles. As well as I thought it might be important and something that was recommended to me. We can take a look at historical, perhaps. I haven't read this book, by the way, but most likely there might be some facts and figures in the book, and we can learn something from history, right? We can begin by taking a look at U.S. port workers and operators reached the East Coast strike immediately. So there was a strike on East Coast where roughly about 45,000 workers were on strike asking for better contract. Well, taking a look at just briefly, I had been recommended a book. I haven't read this book, but it's something that was recommended to me. That was the Operation Underworld, how mafia and U.S. government teamed up to win World War II, and potentially United States government was fighting Nazis. As well as I was trying to find Wikipedia and a little bit more information about what was happening potentially. Operation Underworld was the United States government code name for its cooperations with Italian American mafia and Jewish organized crime figures from 1942 and 1945. The operation aimed to counter Axis spies and saboteurs alongside U.S. northern seaboard ports to avoid wartime labor union strikes and to limit theft by black marketeers or vital war supplies and all equipment, right? So it's something in history, and to learn more about the history, I might be to take a look at this book, but I don't know if it's a good read and if it's gonna be accurate, and that would be organized crime and perhaps something that was happening during 1942, 1945 to potentially US was fighting Nazis, and at the time was organized crime happening in US, and how government was asking for help from criminals potentially. But that's history. And once we have taken a look at history, we can take a look at this article, and we can find out what this labor strike is all about, right? We can take a look at this article. Not necessarily we're gonna read the entire article, but just brief, right, information. Most likely people already know about everything what's happening there. That really, uh, I believe they ask for $5 for extra on top of what they are making, but I don't know if that's what they have received since it's, the way how it will be structured and the way how things would cost. And we're talking about a lot of input cost and labor. And from this article, we're going to be progressing to software solutions, where perhaps a lot of companies going to be taking a look at based on input cost and how to reduce cost. So based on this agreement, most likely in just a second, we're going to be taking a look at how to reduce cost. Anyway, tentative deal includes 62% wage hike over 6 year. Sources states, but I don't know if it's accurate, by the way. But either way, this information has been published by UK sources, right? Routers, right? That will be UK based. So I don't know if it's accurate, right? So I'm just another thing they, as of now, know all the details, right? Strike affected 36 ports, causing backlog of unhurried ships. So potentially adding up to bottleneck of deliveries and all these kind of things. I don't know how much of the entire output and all consumption has been used within the US, and how much of the production would be imported. Would that be 15%? Would that be 20% of day-to-day goods? Most of the governments are very independent. I don't know where United States stands when it comes to ports, right? But either way, that's the president and who have upload critical progress towards a strong contract. So perhaps they would be able, if not right now, in future, reach agreement, and that would be U.S. Dock workers. I think the definition would be dock workers, but longshoremen. So there's very specific things that they are doing, right? Port operators reach a tentative deal that will immediate and a crippling threat. Days, 3-day strike that shut down shipping at the U.S. East Coast and Gulf Coast. Two sides said on Thursday. So potentially there was again, yeah, that's UK based. So how this person would know, right? The tentative agreement for the wage hike around 62% over 6 years. Two sources familiar with the matter again told Reuters against nobody knows actually, by the way, including workers picked line who heard announcement exactly level raise wages to about $63 an hour from 39 an hour for a life of the contract. Anyway. So let's progress. So if anything, from business perspective, right? So increase of labor cost, how that increase would be passed down to customers, and how business might be interested in optimizing their processes, right? Let's progress. Anyway, so I thought while taking a look at the logistical side of things and logistical and software, we can take a look at the top companies in the United States and some of the performance and some of the actions that most of these companies are. If not right now, I think they had to take those actions way back 6 months or so ago. But most likely we're just seeing what's happening. But anyway, Amazon to add 15 data centers to atomic powered campus, and with up to 960 megawatts of capacity to on the table. That may only be the beginning. So it is something potentially. So since data center is a lot of data, and how much energy it would consume to process all this data, right? The data could include autonomous vehicles. The data can include a lot of sensors. The data can include predictive analytics, where things might be moved closer to where last mile delivery might be, all these kind of things. So this is the actions that most of these governments or companies within governments should be taking. I don't know if UK is doing it. I don't know, but I know that US is doing it. So it's 6 months later. If this is what US is doing, 6 months later, perhaps UK will do it. Anyway, it's a different story, right? And that would be potentially 600 jobs, paying about 80,000 each, right? So 600. So potentially, if any of we were taking a look at 45,000 people working as a longshoreman, perhaps they would be considering entering into re-education or retraining and progressing into transferable skills, where they would have very good understanding how to move things, and they could oversee systems, right, operationally. So that's one of those articles, right? Next article we were taking a look at logistical company who slowly perhaps progressing into doing more than just logistical problems that they're looking to solve. But either way, now we can take a look at software company. That will be a Microsoft deal. Proposed 3 Mile Islands restart with the key permits still needed, right? So it's something that was published 13 days ago. I don't know if the contract was finalized, and permits would be a big reason why some of those companies do not progress with the contract. So I don't know if all the terms, how much it will cost, all these kind of things, right? As well as again, we're taking a look at UK sources. So I don't know even if this information is accurate, by the way. So, but anyway, companies so potentially, as I mentioned, that would be Amazon. another company that would be, who would be overseeing energy sector, and Microsoft. And we can take a look at this article. Perhaps we can delve a little bit deeper and just try to understand. But either way, again, we're taking a look at energy sector. And if we were to process a lot of data, we're gonna need a lot of energy, by the way. So, reason for the contract that we were taking a look at, that would be a longshoreman contract, and how much more expensive it can be to run the business for. But that should be important for everyone, right? Again, it's private businesses. If anything, we're not promoting any of these businesses other than perhaps that's leading companies and some of those practices when it comes to reducing cost of operational cost of any businesses and energy cost. That really some of those input costs, right? And I don't know if it's accurate. Some of the data would say that 15% would be nuclear fuel of the cost. Other 85 or so percent would be other costs associated with running some of those facilities, right? That's a rough estimate, right? But anyway, so perhaps if in this article we're going to be taking a look at the companies and no risk and no investment, it's not investment advice, all these kind of things. Do your own research and try to understand for yourself if you should risk with your own money, since it's just a matter of time. Everyone will lose money. Once that been said, we can take a look at the $1 billion bet potentially, but I don't think some of those companies are betting. Again, I not necessarily put things into this perspective other than it perhaps it might be interesting to read, but I don't think those companies are betting or risking capital. I don't think any of those companies are. It might be for entertainment reasons. When you're reading an article, might be interesting. Once that been said, Constellation's plans to spend about 1.6 billion to revive the plant, which is expected to come online by 2028. So, as well as under the Constellation Microsoft deal, Microsoft will purchase energy from the startup plant for a period of 20 years. The 3 Mile Island until will be provided 135 megawatts electricity, off enough to power about 700,000 homes. So this is how much energy potentially Microsoft will be interested in purchasing. But some sources states that that would be only third of how much energy the Microsoft will need. That's only third. So they still need another 2 projects similar to this one. Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.